Hi, everyone. This is Mission BX, and I'm your host, Eileen Newman. We visit nonprofits all over the Bronx and beyond to talk about the wonderful work they do. And today, we're going to be speaking with people from Hostos Community College who have a unique and terrific workforce development program. And we're going to be talking to one of the people who's gone through that program to see the great advantages that he's gained from it. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with our guests.
Everything is here for the taking, my friend. The only one is you, what it must depend. All your dreams is yours, just reach out and take it. Don't blame, rather do.
Hi, everyone. It's Eileen Newman, and I'm back with a great group of people today who are going to talk about a really interesting and unique program with Hostos Community College, with LaGuardia College. And let me just quickly introduce our guests today. We have three guests. We have Evelyn Fernandez Ketchum, and Evelyn is the VP of Workforce Development and Continuing Education at Hostos Community College. We have Denora Castillo, and Denora is at New Settlement, and she's going to talk about New Settlement and how it fits into this whole program. And Denora, I'm going to have you talk about the specific program that you're working in at New Settlement too in a few minutes. And then we have Chris Garcia, who is a person who went through the program that we're going to be talking about. So he's a perfect example of what really creative workforce development can do. So let's start right in. So I'm going to ask you, Evelyn, to tell everybody about well, first of all, maybe just a quick couple of sentences about what you do at Hostos, what your actual job is. I'm going to ask you, Denora, I'm going to ask you to do that too. And also then about what this program is.
Yes, thank you, Eileen, and thank you for having us. So as Vice President of Continuing Education and Workforce Development here at Hostos, our goal is to basically provide occupational training programs for individuals in the community in near neighborhoods. And the occupational training programs that we concentrate on are those that hopefully will help individuals get better jobs at the end of the day. Our big focus at Hostos here is the allied health. So we have many occupational training programs to become home health aide, certified nurse's assistant, patient care technician, medical administrative assistant, EKG, phlebotomy, anything in the healthcare sector. But we're also building out programs in the technology sector, which is another area that's growing, and we will be talking about today in terms of some of the training programs and jobs that are in that sector. And,
go ahead.
Yeah, so, and you know, today we're here to feature one of our programs, particularly not just focusing on healthcare, but technology. And LaGuardia Community College, our sister college, and Hostos, we band together to work with New York Community Trust, a private foundation in New York City, who's dedicated to provide resources to the workforce system here in New York City. And the goal was that we wanted to participate in the recovery of New York City by making sure that we thought about where were the gaps in terms of workforce development, and in particular, the gaps in the Queens and Bronx areas, which are neighborhoods that, due to the pandemic, really fell behind in many areas that we were already devastated in many of the disparities. And the gap that we wanted to fill was, well, how do we help individuals, the working poor, upskill and be able to get occupational training programs that typically are funded by government funding, meaning the federal or state or city pays for those occupational training programs. But if you don't fill, if you don't qualify, if there's the eligibility criteria that you have to be on some kind of public assistance because you're working, you may not qualify. So we wanted to fill that gap. And the way that we could do that was with private foundation funding. And this is where New York Community Trust worked with LaGuardia and ourselves. And we want to really thank Roderick Jenkins, the grant officer, who worked closely with us to make sure that the money was allocated so that it would cover all expenses for occupational training programs that were going to train individuals in a job that would be sustainable, that would pay individuals a good salary. And that's how we arrived at, making sure that we band together to create the CUNY New York City Recovery Hub is what we call it. And under that, we sought out to focus on training certified nurses assistant, patient care technicians, phlebotomy and electrocardiography, medical administrative assistants. And then what we've done now is that in the second iteration of this model is that we're including the CompTIA in the Certified Billing and Coding Specialist program. Right now, the idea is to have 200 individuals be trained in the Bronx and 200 in Queens neighborhoods. So in total, 400 individuals by next year, by 2023, will have completed occupational training programs. Right now at Hostos, we have about 23 that have completed, and we have 86 individuals so far in training. And today you'll hear from Chris, who's one of the ones that have completed a CompTIA training program.
So Denora, how did New Settlement get involved? And part of that question will also be, how did the organizations get picked who are going to be part of it?
Sure, thank you, Eileen.
And can you talk about the program that you work in New Settlement also?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So New Settlement, we stand to bring community members together to break systemic barriers, advance justice, promote leadership, and strengthen neighborhoods by ensuring agency around education, employment, housing, wellness, and creative expression. We help cultivate an equitable society where individuals and families have the power to use their voice to create the change they wish to see. So we're rooted in the Bronx. All of our programming is in the Bronx. We provide a slew of services to the community. At the Young Adult Opportunity Initiative, which is the program that I am the assistant director for, we work with young adults ages 17 to 24 years of age. We've been in the community for 17 years, so we've served over 3,000 young adults over the years that we've been around. We provide them with support in job readiness, getting ready for the workforce, building their soft skills, which we want to shy away from using the word soft skills and really think about that in a much more forward-thinking way and say that they are the future readiness skills. Because although we understand in working with employers that they are soft skills, we want to shy away from that term soft, right? Because they are extremely important skills that they need to have. We provide them with opportunities for internships to continue their education. We support them in seeking and gaining employment after they've been employed or they've been placed in an internship opportunity. We follow them along through their process just to make sure that we're providing them with adequate support to ensure that their success to the best of our ability. And we stay connected to them over time. So we have young adults that have completed, are adults now that completed our program 15 years ago and still stop by or make referrals of other generations within their families. And Chris is a New Settlement baby, we want to say. He's been connected to New Settlement for many, many, many years. And I will let him speak a little bit more about his experience when you give us a chance.
So Chris, how did you find out about this program?
So the way I found out about this program was actually through New Settlement because, for some backstory, I grew up in New Settlement, as Denora mentioned previously. I went through all the programs New Settlement had to offer, whether that be Bronx Helpers or the after school program or summer camp. I went through it all, and I would say that it helped shape the individual I am now. And while I was with YAOI, Young Adult Opportunity Initiative, they actually they gave me some information for the program for Hostos for CompTIA. And while while I was growing up, I was always surrounded with technology in the sense that, you know, I loved playing with my games and stuff like that. And that was just something I always enjoyed, you know, doing. If you saw me as a kid, I always had a smile on my face with like some form of technology in my hands.
Chris, can I interrupt you for 1 second just because what's CompTIA for people who don't know?
Oh, absolutely. CompTIA is an organization that supplies technology, information, and hardware. So it'll break down things like how to build a computer, how to diagnose internet issues, how to diagnose mobile, like cell phone issues, or physical hardware, things of that nature.
Could you put your number in the chat so everyone can call you now that you've been trained? Because I'm thinking I have a little problem with some pop-up stuff on my computer. Maybe
just call Chris.
Yeah, I'm actually
exactly.
Yeah. But it's great that you bring that up to use that as a segue because when Young Adult Opportunity Initiative gave me the information for CompTIA, I wasn't aware that that was a thing I can do. So, you know, this is an information that was readily available in my neighborhood. So when I was given this information, I immediately jumped on the train to take advantage of this program. And when I was introduced to my facilitator, the teacher, my classmates, I was more than thrilled because this was something I loved doing. Before I attended the program, I already built my own computer. So I went in there with prior knowledge, but everything they taught me was you know, the small knowledge I had was just a drop in the bucket with the information that they had readily available to give me. So I was more than thrilled to take part of the program.
And so what's your plan now? So you finished the training, and what's next? What do you want to do with this?
So it's great that you asked because I actually recently just got my voucher for my first my core 1, which is the first part of my test, which is hardware. And I'm currently studying to take it. And I'm just really excited because I want to get this out of the way to see that I know that I have something for myself going forward, because before this, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And, you know, now that I see these opportunities, I'm fast tracking myself there to get there because, you know, like I said, this is something I enjoy doing and I want to make money and enjoy doing what it is I love doing.
And you are, as Evelyn said when we talked before in preparation for this, you're really the poster child for what this program was supposed to do. It really worked beautifully. So, so how Evelyn? I'm going to go back to you, Evelyn, and ask how, and then we're going to have to take a little break, I think, before you answer the whole question. But how did the organizations that you worked with, that you're working with, get chosen, and how did the students get chosen?
So in terms of the community-based agencies, it was really important for community-based agencies to be engaged. It was one of the criteria that the New York Community Trust ensured that we had to follow through. That, you know, Roderick was, you know, you need to make sure that community-based agencies are involved in this project. So one of the things that we did is through the Center for Bronx nonprofit that Eileen is executive director for, we did a solicitation. So a solicitation, not a big proposal, just for community-based agencies to apply and give us a 1 to 2 pager description as to how they were going to do the recruitment in the community of the students, how they wanted to get involved in the recovery of New York City, and the extent that they wanted to work with Hostos Community, and they needed to describe the extent to which they wanted to work with us with the community-based agency. And there was funding allocated, not a lot of money, but enough to help with outreach and recruitment. And again, this was one of the requirements that the New York Community Trust Foundation included. And in terms of the student who we wanted to target, again, it was to fill that gap. A student who did not have to necessarily provide any documentation that they were a public assistance recipient or that they were in financial need. It is someone that just said, listen, I need to upskill so that I can get a better job, so that I can earn more money, so that I can move up in my current workplace. With someone like Chris, who's still at the very beginning of his career, he's now starting with computer support tech, which is the entry-level position. And he mentioned he's going to be taking an exam, and we wish you luck, Chris, in that exam. And we hope we prepared you well. He'll pass that exam and he'll have an industry recognized credential. And the CompTIA certification is sort of the entry level. From here on, you know, Chris will be able to figure out what he wants to do in the tech sector. He can go into cybersecurity. You know, the entry level for CompTIA salary is about starting 37, 40, but he'll be able to move into other certifications and take other courses, which, by the way, we offer. Chris, in case you're interested after you pass, we do have a cybersecurity course that you can do online, and is self-paced. So it is only the beginning for Chris, and he can really write his own ticket now.
So I'm going to stop there because we have to take a little break, and then we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Again, it's Eileen Newman, and the show is Mission BX, and we're here with Evelyn Fernandez Ketchum from Hostos Community College, Denora Castillo from New Settlement, and Chris Garcia, who is a student taking part in the program that we're talking about. So, Denora, I want to go back to you in terms of how New Settlement fit into this and what you have traditionally been doing in terms of workforce development.
Sure. So as I mentioned before, New Settlement is really, we really want to make sure that we are ensuring agency around education. At the Young Adult Opportunity Initiative, we work with young adults particularly, and one of the things that we offer is connections to employment and training opportunities. But as an organization overall, we want to be able to support our community with connecting individuals in our community to furthering their education by any means. As we understand, we know that many families might not have the ability to enroll into an associate's program or a bachelor's program because time is limited. So naturally, when the opportunity came about for the New York City Accelerated Workforce Hub, which was an accelerated series of programs, it just made sense to reach out and see how we would be able to support this initiative based off of what we already do in the community and based off of the connection that we have to the families in the community and there for generations, right? This is a generational organization. So we service everyone.
So I also want to do a little plug. You can go to missionbx.tv and see the show that I did about New Settlement a couple of years ago. So you'll get more information about the organization. But so I want to take it a little beyond the program now and look at the whole, how you all see the whole issue of workforce development and the future of workforce development. I mean, it sounds like I have to say I was naive about this, and I didn't understand that people did have to indicate that they were on public assistance to get into certain programs. So clearly that makes this incredibly different and much more accessible. But where do you see this as? This is the kind of program that will be happening? How did this come about? Is it because people like all of you or who in positions where you knew what the future of workforce development had to be lobbied? How did this happen? And do you see this as something that will become a model for workforce development in the hopefully the near future?
Yes, I think it is. It's not the future, it's the now, right? You know, the gap that's existed, particularly when we're talking about the 18 to 29-year-old, there are young people who left school when they were 18, got their high school diploma, did not necessarily connect to college, or did not connect to a training program that gave them an industry recognized credential that's recognized by employers. So we've been behind with certain groups and certain populations. And the young adult population is one of those, which New Settlement is a staple in the community for working with. And this is why, you know, Hannah, LaGuardia, Sunil, and I, we've been in workforce development for a long time. We've worked with New York Community Trust and other workforce foundation, which are generous in New York City. And, you know, most training programs typically will require individuals to qualify for them, either need-based or for whatever, you know, whatever requirements. So this is for the first time a way that we can scholarship so that a student can actually decide, okay, I'm not ready for college. I need this industry recognized credential because this is what's going to help me check off that box in the application. An employer will recognize a CompTIA certification. And the student does not have to go to college at this moment. And one of the things that we're working here at Hostos is that we're looking at industry recognized credential that can also offer college credits for students. And that's where we're headed in terms of making sure that a CompTIA perhaps, and we're working on this, can earn someone not just, you know, the ability to get a job, but also some college credits should they decide to enroll and matriculate at the college. And that's really the future. And that's what we're looking up to. You know, we need to make sure that not just young people, but adults are balancing school life and work. So if a student can, you know, enroll in a college, having coming in with college credits that is valued also for work, it's a win-win.
Yeah. And Denora, what about how you see the future of what you're doing at New Settlement in terms of workforce development?
I see that this is an opportunity for other programs to really follow along with what we're doing here, right? We are working on an initiative that is really valuable to the community members. As Evelyn mentioned, it's not just the young adults, but adults as well. So we have multiple programs, as I mentioned before. We have a college access center who is working closely with us on this initiative as well, because they have a better understanding of community members who may not be able to commit to a college degree at the moment. We have the community center, which serves ages from babies all the way up to seniors. And this is not limited. The great thing about this initiative is just the main requirement is that you're 18 years of age or older, right? And that is very important because what we see is with many of these programs that are offered, they're very limited for either just 18 to 24 or 18 to 26. And we have working age adults who want to continue on in their career and who want to upskill, as Evelyn mentioned before, and earn a better living for their families. But unfortunately, they weren't presented with the opportunity because the programs in the past are only for young adults, whereas this initiative is really targeted to everyone. We also have the Youth Build program, which is one of our programs here at New Settlement that is making referrals into this initiative. And we also have the program for young girls and women. So we're all doing this collectively. It's not just one program within New Settlement. It's all of the programs within New Settlement that are really identifying both current participants, previous participants and alumni and their families, and offering them this opportunity to upskill and gain a credential that will help them change the trajectory of their family, which is what we want to do.
And also change the population of people who can get into these jobs. I think that's a huge issue too. So Chris, here's the question I have for you. What's your fantasy about your ideal job after you've gone through this? What do you want to do?
Oh man, it can be any number of things as long as I have my hand in technology. Honestly, before I was taking this class, I learned how to build computers and I love it. It's like Legos for adults. And
I find that amazing. That is amazing to me. You know, who managed to get on the Zoom call and feels really accomplished. So the fact that you can take my computer part and rebuild it is incredible to me.
Exactly, yeah. And and when I finished this class, I realized that there was a lot more to that. So I honestly can't put my hand on a specific, my hand on a specific dream job. Honestly, anything in IT is honestly what I would love to do. Building computers, diagnosing issues is just what I've found out that it works for me and I love it. And I can either do it from home or go in an office and it wouldn't bother me because it's just something I love doing.
So how do you then, from coming out, you have your credentials, is there something in this that then helps you get in touch with people who might be hiring? Who is there an element of this, or is there another program that can help with that?
So yeah, from my understanding and how I was informed of, after I get certified and finish both of my Core 1 and Core 2 exams, Hostos would also be able to help me connect me to the right opportunities, along with New Settlement as well, if they have any opportunities as well. But from what I've been told in my research that I've been done as well, this is something that's in need, in the sense that companies are looking for this certification everywhere, and you can do it from home, like I mentioned previously, or go in office, and it's really needed because there's a lack of people that are going for this.
So near to the end, we have about 3 minutes left. So I have this little fearful piece that I've been sitting here with, thinking, what happens? So we have all of these people who are able to take advantage of this, but is there an end date? Does it get continued? How do we keep this rolling?
So thank you, Eileen. It's a great question. So come 2023, it's a 1-year funding. So we are looking to make sure that we sort of multiply or get the attention of other foundations, or so that we can build on this model. We have commitment from New York Community Trust to get us started, but we are looking for additional funding. And I also just wanted to expand a little bit on what Chris mentioned in terms of the employer engagement. This is also a call to employers. We work as community college, New Settlement. We ask employers to meet with us and tell us, how do we help you fill your needs in terms of employment? What are the competencies that you're looking for? We want to engage in those discussions, not just give us the jobs. We want to know, how do we better prepare individuals so that we can get them to you the way, the talent pipeline, the way you want them trained, so that we can all be successful. So it's the foundations, it's the colleges, the community-based agencies, and the employers. We need all to be at the same, the same table, in the same room, talking about this.
And I can say for this show, part of the reason that we do this show is to get the word out about what's happening in organizations in the Bronx. And this is and so that the community knows that to take advantage of it, but also we're hoping that people who are employers, people who are in government, may happen upon this show, or people watch BronxNet and think, oh, this is something that because to me it's now, but it's also the future. And so people like you, Chris, can suddenly discover something that you maybe didn't think you were going to do. And that creates, I think, a generation of people who then go into exciting new fields. So that's all we have time for, but this has been great. And thank you so much. And I hope a lot of people watch this and learn about these opportunities. And I really appreciate all of your time. And Chris, good luck to you. And you have to keep checking back in and let us know how you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks to all of you.
Thank
you for having us, Eileen. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you. And thank you.
That's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you'd like to recommend it to others or watch it again, just go to missionbx.tv at BronxNet, and you'll be able to see this show and other shows that we've done. In addition, I wanted to remind you that this is a collaboration between BronxNet and the Center for Bronx Nonprofits at Hostos Community College. Thanks for watching, and come back to see the next show that we have about great organizations doing wonderful work in the Bronx.